This week's blogging video is all about how to make your blog legal, which is a huge part of having your blog, and there's certain things that you are legally required to have on your blog. So I'm gonna walk you through all those things, how I figured it out, when I started bringing on lawyers, LLC, basically a roundup of everything that I did to make my blog legal. All right, so a quick little intro that I do in every single video, but I feel like it just gives me some credibility. My name is Sophia. I have the blog by Sophia Lee. It is a 7-figure blog. I started it 6 years ago out of my dorm room, and now I have a team of 9 of us working on it. Like I said, it makes 9 figures, I wish. It makes 7 figures, and I've been able to start multiple businesses off of it. So I've been doing it for, like I said, 6 years now, and I have learned so much along the way, and there's so many things that took me a really long time to learn, and they're pretty simple things. So I'm trying to give you all of my tips and tricks and the things that I've learned along the way. One of those obviously being how to make your blog legal. So I'm gonna separate this video into how I did it in the beginning and then how I'm doing it now. Obviously in the beginning it was a way smaller thing, but I still needed to have certain legal pages, and now it's a lot more complicated. I have dedicated lawyers, etc, etc. So let's get into the video. So right off the bat, I did not even realize that I needed to have legal pages until I was probably like 6 months in. I had no idea. One of the most common things that I say throughout this whole blogging journey is I don't know what I don't know, and that was one of the things that I didn't know. And when I found out, I was like, holy shit, I am not going to jail for this blog, and I panicked. And I wasn't sure how to go about handling getting the legal pages that I needed to get. One, I was a college student. I was absolutely broke, like so broke. 2, I had no idea what you needed to include in them. I'm not a lawyer. Like, I was 19 years old. I mean, I really had no idea. So I started to do more and more research. The pages that you are required, I have my notes pulled up, because still, even today, this is definitely not my strong suit. I hire out basically everything legal because it scares me so much. The things you are required to have on your blog as far as legal pages go are a privacy policy, a disclaimer, and a terms and conditions page. So those are the 3 things that you are absolutely required. Like, you have to have those things. So then that takes me back to, well, how the HELL, do I do this? Do I set this up? Do I pay for this? Because I knew that having a lawyer is just so expensive. So I began to research. I started studying other people's. I debated just copying someone's, but then I was like, oh my God, what if I go to jail? Then I don't want to have that on my rec. I don't know. I legitimately didn't know what to do. So I stumbled upon this lawyer who started specializing in just templates for bloggers. So I was able to purchase this template at a super low cost and then adjust it. Like, she tells you everything that you need to write in there and everything you need to adjust it to make it specialized for your specific website, and then I could upload it. So I liked it for multiple reasons. One, it was super inexpensive. I reached out to a lawyer to see how much it would cost. Her things was half, if not more, of what 1 hour of a lawyer would cost, and it would cost multiple hours, if not, I don't even know how many hours it would take for a lawyer to put all these pages together. So I really liked the price. It was the only thing I could afford. This was basically the only option. And 2, I really liked that she was a lawyer, so I could trust her. Other people in the blogging industry were also using her pages and loved their experience with her. Her name is Amira Law Blog. I actually reached out to her and was like, look, I'm filming a video on blogging legal stuff. Can you give anyone who watches this a discount code? So she gave all of my viewers a 25% off discount code, which is huge. You have to click on my link to have the discount code work. That's one of the only ways that it will work. And the code is Sophia25. So I'll put it on the screen, and it's also in the description. The link will be in the description, but that will get you 25% off everything. Now, I will say that she has multiple bundles. In the beginning, I am so pro spending the least amount of money as possible. So the things that I would spend money on is her individual privacy policy template, the disclaimer template, and then the terms and conditions template. I personally would not recommend getting the bundle yet. She has bundles with a ton of different things in them. I think they're great, but I don't think you need them yet. So if you get to a point where you do think you need them, then you can consider that. But for right now, it's those 3 that I would specifically recommend. So that's what I used on my blog in the beginning. She gave full directions, and it made me just sleep better at night knowing that my blog was fully protected. So those are the things that I did know as far as like the actual legal pages on your website. Then let's talk about LLC. So, and I did not set up my LLC, which this is probably stupid. You probably don't want to do what I did, but I always do my videos from like my experience and how I've handled something. I didn't set up my LLC until I was like 2 years into the blog. And at that point, the blog was already super successful. And my sister randomly, who was like younger than me, so I was like, how do you know this? And I don't. But she was like, Sophie, are you like an LLC yet? And I wasn't. So I was able to get an LLC. I live in Wisconsin, and Wisconsin offered a program to students where you could get the LLC for free. So if you are a student, definitely look into your state to see if that's a possibility, because I think if you, at least in Wisconsin, now I filed LLCs not as a student, it's like $125 or something. So you don't need a lawyer in the beginning to file an LLC. I just filled out paperwork. Like I said, I got it for free because I was a student, and that was kind of that. So I did it 2 years into blogging. However, now that I know better, I file for an LLC like immediately before I even start something. So, I mean, when you get the name, and for accounting purposes you need it, and that just goes back to, or I guess not goes back to, that goes to my next point, is now that the blog is a much bigger thing than when I first started, I can afford to hire essentially everything out, and I do hire everything out because I don't know anything about the law. I mean, common sense, obviously, but I don't know anything about the law, and I don't know anything about accounting, and those two things go really hand in hand. So now I work with a lawyer who does like the trademarking and the LLC, and then the accountant also works because like the LLC plays into the accounting. So now I gear essentially everything to them, because like I've said multiple times, I don't want to end up in jail from this blog. So that's how I handle it now. But I would recommend getting an LLC set up and then eventually trademarking your name, your logo, whatever it is. The last thing that I want to cover is a huge thing on copyright. So you cannot copy anyone's blog. You cannot take their pictures from Pinterest, and even if you credit them below, you can still get sued for copyright. And you just have to be really careful with that. So I immediately, if I see someone copying my blog, I take screenshots of everything because I want to have proof of it. I send it immediately to my lawyer, and then my lawyer sends a cease and desist. I do not mess around with it. I send them at least probably 3 times a year. Usually just sending that cease and desist scares the shit out of the person, and they remove everything and they delete it, and their lesson is learned. You don't need a lawyer to send it. You can just look up like a cease and desist template and then send it yourself. But that's how I handle when people copy my work. And it's the most infuriating thing that it's like, my blood boils even just thinking about it. It's really, I think it's like so insulting when someone fully just like copies what you do, or like 99.9% copies what you do. It's really frustrating. So that's how I handle that one. I am not afraid to send those. I send those very, very often, and I think you should too if someone copies your blog. So that is, I'm making sure that I have everything. That is really all of the information about legal things with your blog, especially in the beginning, and then as you keep getting bigger and bigger. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. The sale for the discount code for Amira Law Blog goes until the 9th. And again, use the link in the description, and then you can put in the coupon code, which is Sophia25. So thank you so much for watching. I know this stuff is like the scariest part about blogging, at least it was for me, because I just did not, it was not worth it to me to get in trouble. So hopefully this eases your mind. If I'm the one that breaks the news to you that you have to have these pages, I'm sorry, because I knew when I read it for the first time, I like freaked out. Like I think I actually cried because I was so scared that I didn't have those for that long. So, but I'm glad that you're learning it now, just like I learned it back in the day. So I hope that was helpful, and I will see you at the next blogging video.